Today I will reveal my over $10,000 monthly personal expenses. Now before you go and type, oh my god, this guy's crazy, he talked about saving money but he spends so much money. Before you go doing that, let me provide a little bit of background, and after that I will do a breakdown on my monthly personal expenses. I'm in quite an interesting situation. I am both employed, self-employed, and a business owner. So the difference between being a business owner and being a self-employed is that self-employed is still counted as personal income, and for businesses that is incorporated, we are taxed under corporate tax, and so it's slightly different. I might make another video to talk about that. So for the purpose of this video, I am not going to include my business expenses under the companies that is incorporated, but for my self-employed expenses and personal expenses, because all these are all counted as individual expenses, whether they are for my personal enjoyment or for my businesses, sometimes the lines are a little bit blurred. I'm going to include them in this video. I actually made another video on my household expenses, which is not included in this video. There are some overlaps which I will go into details later on. So without further ado, let's go. So between me and my wife, how it works is that both of us contribute money every month into our joint account, and that joint account is being used to pay for our combined expenses such as household expenses and stuff like that. So every month I contribute about $2,200 into our joint account, which goes to pay for our household expenses, including stuff like our mortgage, groceries, and stuff like that. For a full household expense breakdown, go and check out my household expense video somewhere here. So that's $2,200. Next, I spend about $2,500 on transport and other expenses. I think this is the largest expense out of everything. To break down this $2,500, roughly $1,000 is spent on Grab/transport, and the remaining $1,500 is spent on stuff like food, entertainment, buying gifts for clients, and what I like to categorize as make my life easier or solve problems quickly expenses. So sometimes when we are really busy trying to build businesses and trying to get stuff done, we just pay a little bit of money to make things easier. So instead of taking the train or taking a Grab all the way to deliver an item to my client, sometimes I will just order a Grab Express, to just deliver stuff very quickly, like certain documents or certain gifts and stuff like that. About $1,500 is allocated to this food expenses and make my life easier expenses. Make my life easier expenses would also include stuff that I might decide to pay a little bit more just to make it more convenient for myself, rather than spend time, which I have very limited of these days, to save money. So of course there's a balance to this. It's not about being super extravagant and spending a whole bunch of money to make things easy. I try to keep certain things like my meals affordable so that I can spend more to make things easier. So for example, if my mic or my camera were to be faulty, I would just spend money to fix it instead of trying to find solutions to fix it myself, because it makes it easier for me to just get on with my life, right? So that is about $2,500, $1,000 on transport and $1,500 on food and make my life easier expenses. Next, which is my monthly investment expenses. I count this as expenses because I'm buying something, right? I'm buying stocks and shares and funds and stuff like that. So my base investment every month is about $2,000. Without fail, whether the market is up or the market is down, I invest about $2,000 into the stock market, and I consistently buy companies and funds that I believe in the long term, whether they go up or they go down. This is what I call a base investment. So my personal strategy for investing is that if the market dips over 20% from the previous high, I will increase my investment or above $2,000 a month from money that is saved up somewhere else, like cash that is like parked somewhere else. But consistently, whether the market goes up or down, I invest $2,000 every month. If the market goes down, I just invest more. If the market goes up, I just put $2,000. So $2,000 is allocated to the market for investing, whether it's rain or shine. Okay, I think this one must be the next biggest expense, which is manpower. So this does not include manpower that I engage for my incorporated businesses. This is manpower that I engage for my personal life as well as self-employed businesses such as my real estate business and other freelance consultancy work in marketing that I do. So I spend about $2,200 on freelancers every month quite consistently. These freelancers include an admin assistant who helps me compile certain things like my personal business expenses like my Grab, certain other stuff like that. And my personal assistant also helps me sort out certain basic administrative stuff in my life so that I can get stuff done quicker. And the remaining goes mostly to paying people such as video editors, designers, just to get stuff done for me while I'm doing other stuff. Because I actually make quite a lot of videos either for myself or for other people. It is more efficient if I can concurrently get more videos out or edited at the same time. So these people I have been working with for a while, and over time I also want to pay them more as they get better and as I generate more revenue. But as of today, it is roughly about $2,200 per month. Next, insurance. My insurance portfolio is relatively minimal compared to many people, but I have all the basic stuff covered such as my life insurance, my critical illness, my accident plans and everything covered. So I think I'm pretty good. I spend about $200 a month on my personal insurance. This does not include insurance for my house and stuff like that. This is for me personally. So that's about $2,400 a year, which I think is quite minimal compared to a lot of people. But I think I'm covered enough because after calculations, if I liquidate certain investments and other holdings that I have, I would be able to handle many things. And not to mention, I have a bunch of emergency funds sitting around as well. So that's my insurance. Okay, I spend about $20 a month on my Giga phone plan for my personal phone. And I spend another $10 a month on a Circles Life eSIM plan, which is for my real estate business because I don't want to mix the messages from my real estate business and my other personal stuff. So that's about $30 total for telco. I spend $18.98 a month on Disney Plus. I spend $17.46 a month on Spotify. I spend $25.98 a month on Netflix. But most of this, right, I actually don't really use much except for Spotify to listen to music and podcasts. Disney Plus and Netflix mostly my family is using lah. This gets a little bit of an overlap here because these three I categorize under household expenses, which is broken down in my previous video, but I'm actually paying for it with my personal credit cards. So, yeah, take it how you will, but these are some of my expenses. Okay, then we have cloud storage. So I pay $13.98 a month for my Apple cloud storage and $13.99 a month for my Google cloud storage. I do use a NAS system at home for storage as well, but sometimes when I want to deliver certain files or easily back up my iPhone and my whole iOS ecosystem, I pay for the Apple cloud subscription as well as the Google cloud subscription because I think they're generally better secured and they are faster compared to my personal cloud storage system that I use at home, which is from Synology. You can check that out as well. I think Synology makes very good NAS systems. Check that out. Okay, next would be my income tax and compulsory MediSave contribution every month. So I roughly pay about $930.45 per month for both my income tax payments as well as my compulsory MediSave contributions as a self-employed person. Income tax is definitely an expense, but MediSave, I guess most people might not constitute that as an expense because it's still your money, right? But as long as it is not liquid and I'm paying into somewhere I cannot touch when I want to, I count it as an expense lah. So that is $930.25 every month into income tax as well as compulsory MediSave payments. And last but not least, there is about $700 a month that I give away to certain charities or certain organizations that I want to help or believe in. I actually only started doing this late 2024, but why I'm doing this is because I just feel like it's about time, and a lot of people talk about giving back to society and giving back to people when they are better off, when they are richer and stuff like that. But I personally just have this value and this belief that we don't need to take big actions to give back. I don't need to give back $7,000 every month or whatever. Like even a couple of $100 a month giving back to certain charities and organizations that I believe in, that I want to contribute to, I think is very important to me, to my life. And so therefore, I think giving back is like a best of your ability thing. You don't need to give back big amounts once you have reached your financial freedom goal. But I think slowly giving back to society, whether it's with your time or with money, I think is very important to me. So that's why I allocate $700 to give back every month. I actually allocate more than $700, but minimum $700 to give back to organizations, society and stuff like that, because I think that's very important to me. So that totals up to roughly $10,814.46 per month on expenses. Some of you might not agree with some of the expenses being categorized as personal expenses, but this is just how I sort it out in my head and how it works for me. Everybody is different, to each your own. You don't have to follow what I'm doing here. If you are keen on checking out my household expenses, which is different from my personal expenses, go and check out my household expenses video. But do take note that some of my personal expenses goes into contribute for my household expenses as well. So there are overlaps. It's not like everything is added up. So this is how I categorize it in my life anyways. But all in all, after this $10,000 plus, I usually would have cash remaining on good months because my income as a self-employed person fluctuates a lot. But on good months, I would have some money left over, and this money left over would go into contributing to my emergency funds as well as my war chest. So my war chest is basically a sum of cash that I put into usually money market funds or cash management accounts to eventually put into the stock market for my personal investment portfolio if the market crashes a certain amount. Because I consistently invest $2,000 every month, but some months I want to invest more if the market is lower. So the remaining money goes into what I call a war chest so that I can contribute to my investments if I contribute more than $2,000 to my investments for a particular month if the market were to drop. And then whatever remaining goes into random savings accounts for liquidity. For example, I need to inject more money into my businesses because we are expanding. Maybe I want to invest into something such as equipment, such as other stuff. And maybe I want to spend a little bit more on holidays with my wife, with my family. I want to treat someone to a nice dinner. That comes out of all these extra stuff that I do not use for my expenses, which I categorize into three main categories. So emergency funds, war chest for investments in the future, as well as other stuff that I want to spend on or save to spend on, like upgrade my new MacBook or buy some new furniture or stuff like that. So that's it on my personal expenses. I understand that everybody's journey is different. You should not use my expenses to gauge where you are and how you're doing. I know people who have kids that spend much more than me. I know people who have kids that spend much less than me. So everybody is on their own journey. But at this moment, I'm using quite a lot of money to buy back my time so that I can expand my businesses and give back my time to certain people that I want to give back my time to. So that is just how I chose to organize my life. Let me know what you think in the comments. Am I spending too much money every month, or am I spending too little? If you like content in freelancing, growing businesses, personal expenses, and real estate, please give me a like, comment, and share. And I will see you in the next video. Peace!